Welcome back to another episode of biking and blogging, or biking and blabbing rather. My name's Cycling Mike, and today I'm filming a video a bit early, but it'll still go out on Wednesday. Today on the show I got Comics Club to talk to you about, and a review of the Fisher King. Fisher King will be first, and the Comics Club will be later in the video because that was what I promised you from last week. But before we get to any of that stuff, I have a couple clear-ups about the Silent Chub Festival I did last week. One of them is, I didn't really explain to you all what I drew, and the thing I drew was, or painted, whatever you want to call it, was a Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends image, because the reason for that was because it was a kids thing, and so as a result of it being a kids book fair, I thought about, I was thinking about cartoons and what I really liked as a kid growing up in terms of what cartoons I thought were cool. I thought from a cartoon perspective, if anybody was going to do anything else, they were going to choose SpongeBob, but nobody did that. But anyways, I still wanted to do something unique, and I thought Foster's was a unique choice. So I chose a image of the lead friend and his girlfriend for an episode reading together. We're looking at a photo album, but it's still a book, so it worked out for the festival. Anyways, that's the clear-ups. Now onto the two topics of today's episode. First of which is The Fisher King, which is a movie that came out in '93, I believe, and stars Jeff Bridges and Robin Williams. And it's an interesting movie. It's very Man of La Mancha-esque. I'm not quite sure where I am with it. I like it. I don't know if I love it or anything. The Red Knight aspect is really interesting in the movie. I think my favorite scene in the movie is the ballroom hallucination scene where there's all the dancers and our lead, Robin Williams, Perry, this man who has gone mad. He is envisioning all these people in this sort of Grand Central Station-esque type environment. They're in this giant mall area. He's envisioning all of them dancing, and the woman that he's with, she's also dancing with it. Well, not with, but the woman he wants to be with is also dancing. So that was I think that was the best scene in the entire movie. It's named The Fisher King because Perry writes this play and called The Fisher King, but it's, Jeff Bridges' character is kind of Howard Stern-esque radio asshole guy who really has trouble knowing when he's got a good thing going. And it's a really the sort of one complaint I have about it is they have this dinner scene where Perry finally gets to go out on a date with this woman that he watches every single day, and because he's infatuated with her. And the directing of the scene is weird because you get these cuts, and the line for the cuts runs across the screen, and I found that very distracting watching as a viewer. So that's my only real knock on the movie. I'm glad I saw it. Robin Williams is perfect for Perry. He's just, because he's schizophrenic psychologically. Well, he's not really schizophrenic, but he's gone insane because his wife was murdered. So just a perfect role for Robin Williams. He can be funny and over the top. All right, so that's The Fisher King. Then on to Wednesday's Comics Club, which was interesting. It was very video game centric. I went and did this in my city library. Guy puts it on once a month. He's been holding it for 6 years. I went a couple years ago for a Doctor Who thing, but it was interesting. We all talked about movies and what we last saw. Everybody had seen Sonic, or at least most everybody. which I haven't seen yet. I'm not really sure I want to see it. You know, I watched the show on 4Kids or Fox Box, whatever we're going to call it, when I was younger, but I wasn't a huge fan. I just watched it because it was on. So, we talked about Sonic the Hedgehog, we talked about Ghostbusters, we talked about the new Star Wars video game. I sort of brought up Star Trek for whatever reason, for tone reasons. The new Star Trek being Discovery and Picard. So, nice thing was, me and the host were in agreement about what a mess The Rise of Skywalker was. So it was fun. It was really it was nice because one of the things that he pointed out, which I totally agree with, is people who are too into their own fandom to where they don't make time for other fandoms or for other things that they enjoy. And I feel at times I've been very, very guilty of this. And I, especially in the, being a Doctor Who fan, especially in the realm of science fiction. Yeah. Especially in the realm of science fiction. And I just feel like, sometimes when I watch Who, I get so involved in it as a show that I sort of forget about other science fiction franchises, other, science fiction writers, other elements of science fiction sometimes. So sometimes it's nice for me to take a step back from Who a bit, because I have to be careful and not overwhelm myself and pretend that's the only science fiction series or even piece of science fiction that's ever been created. But the same goes for other, the same goes for just franchises in general. I like Star Wars a lot and everything. I love Star Wars, and Star Trek's pretty cool. I'm a bigger Star Wars fan than I am a Trek fan, though. And I just have to be conscientious and make sure, and this is with a lot of other things. This isn't just with Who or even fandoms. I just have to make sure that the things I love and appreciate, that I give time to all of them. And I really think that the Comics Club did a nice job, or the host of the Comics Club did a nice job of reminding me of that. It's really a pop culture club, but comics and pop culture. So I go back. I think it's interesting. I think there's a lot I could end up exploring because of it. I'm not going to become a gamer. My whole problem with being a gamer is I was never a gamer as a kid, so I feel like it's too late now as an adult because I don't know where to necessarily jump off. I have some idea, but not a lot of idea of where to jump off. So we talked about that, and they were going to see the Kong movie on Sunday. Unfortunately, due to this coronavirus, my Sunday plans were canceled. So I could have gone to see the Kong movie, but I decided not. This is original King Kong. They were putting it in theaters. Hadn't been in theaters in over 30 years. So they're putting their first King Kong movie back in theaters, and they were all going to go see that. I would have joined them had I not. I had a Sunday commitment. But once my Sunday commitment was canceled, I was like, okay, well, it sort of felt like it was too late to join them. So yeah, that was the Comics Club. A lot of good people there. A lot of people that are everybody's very much on different. I don't know. I sort of feel like, I shouldn't say very different, but I'm kind of a bit of an outlier in the sense that I think I'm one of the non-gamers of the club, and I think that's a good thing. There was a point in the meeting where I thought maybe I don't belong here because I'm not a gamer, and I'm like, no, I belong here. It just, gaming's not my medium. Nor will it probably ever be. Unless this channel does really well and I decide to blow a bunch of money on a, PlayStation or an Xbox. So, next week, this is going to go up early. This is going to go up probably today or tomorrow. But next week we're going to talk about my festival cancellations and how I'm going to the park. I'll explain what park next week and how I'm doing that, but not doing the fest I intended on doing at the park because it got canceled. So, talk about that a bit. And also next week I'm going to probably have some Westworld stuff for you. I've been trying to get into Westworld again. I watched like half of season 1, and then when I went back to it to try and watch the back half, I forgot about the half that I watched. So hopefully I'll have all of that watched and done by the next time I make a video. If not, I'll just postpone it to the following week. I'll let you know about that in the clear-ups. That's what we call so I'm calling the first segment where I sort of clear up things from the previous video. Hopefully there won't be any clear-ups from this video. So that's it for now. Cycling Mike signing out. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and keep on YouTubing for those YouTubing.